Oh, I need to be the host with the most. The host with the most. The host with the most. Boom. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Improperly Packaged, a show where we unbox topics related to movies, TV, games, and whatever. I am Jordan, and with me is Luke. How are you doing, Luke?
Can't tell if I have my headphones on backwards now or had them on backwards before.
It's impossible to tell, isn't it? Sometimes, especially like I've gotten pretty good with figuring out the earbuds as far as with where they're supposed to go in, but with the headsets, I still get screwed up sometimes.
This feels better.
Do you
Doing well. I have my headphones on right, so we're good.
do you ever listen to music or game or movie
Oh yes, I
in
listen to
like
music very often, Jordan.
but when you have headphones on and you have them on the wrong way, do you ever like
I
hear?
almost never listen to music with headphones on.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if we're
Really?
being specific, earbuds. But I think you meant just headphones in general. A
Yeah.
general category of something that makes music in your ears.
That
That's what
shoots
you
it
meant,
directly into
right?
your ear holes.
Yeah. Yeah, I use earbuds. Yeah. So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I've never
What were you saying?
noticed. Like, I've never actually been to the point where I'm like, the right stuff's happening on the left, and the left is going on the
Mm,
right, and I'm having to like actually switch
yeah.
it around because I'm hearing it wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not
Well, at
that
least with
sophisticated.
the AirPods, which I've been using for a while now, you know, you'd have
Hmm.
they'd have to be like upside down to even like go in your ears the wrong way. You'd pretty much immediately be like, "This feels awful. I should probably switch it."
Do you think earbuds or AirPods, I guess I should say, or do you think that's pretty much it as far as like the future of earbuds, or what do you where do you
Mm,
think it's going? For a while now, like Beats were
yeah,
like everywhere, and then like AirPods kind of came along and then kind of shifted things into another direction.
I I think yes would be the answer. When they first came out, I was like, I don't know that if I really want that. For the longest time, I had the LG ones, which were super popular. They'd sell out whenever any new version has, which was like a necklace with like the little buds came out and like went
Yeah.
in your ears. But honestly, they were pretty ugly. So I only
Mm,
wore them like when I was working. Otherwise, like I saw people just wearing them around. I'm like, that doesn't look very good. And like
yeah.
AirPods are definitely different because I know people wear them as like a status symbol or whatever, but that's just stupid. But they actually don't, like, get in your way, they're not really noticeable. I mean, I wouldn't just wear them unless I'm specifically on the phone or listening to music, but they're much more, like, blend into whatever you're doing versus, like, having, like, a necklace around it, so
Yeah.
I think wireless in general, I think, is the way things are gonna go, and being that it's just easier, honestly, to have this, like, small little, like, Altoids, not even Altoids, like, Tic Tac case, basically, in your pocket and, like, have headphones just, you know, right there. I think until, like, the Her technology gets invented,
I was just thinking that
it's like
like
an
the
in-the-ear
her
thing.
yeah, he has like the one thing and he can just talk to it.
Yeah. Apparently, the next AirPods on the Apple rumors, which is one of my big passions, um, are not gonna have any stem at all, they're just gonna go straight in the ear,
Mm,
so I don't know. I kind of like the stem, honestly, because it gives you like something to hold on to.
true.
You like double click it and that like skips a song. And I think with the other ones you would like tap on the outside, but
You wouldn't want it to be like Avengers, like how they have the thing that goes inside you, like inside your ear.
yeah. I mean it sounds like that would be a better because it would be less, but I don't know. I feel like that would be kind of uncomfortable to like have something like disappearing into your ear.
Ugh, that's
Like I
scary
kind of
too.
like having it on the edge where it's like easily plucked out.
Yeah.
And it's hard to imagine something that small could get good battery life. Like
Oh man.
even now, like I can get maybe 4 hours out of them, which I pretty much never have to worry about because I'm putting them back in the case. I'm taking them out. I'm doing things, so it's not. Yeah, I don't know. This was a long explanation, but yeah, probably I would probably say it. It probably is the future of headphones.
I would like to get around like having to use a wake word like Alexa or whatever, just to
Yeah,
like in Her, he's
like
just like
Scarlet. Yeah,
next song.
Scarlet, do something for me.
Yeah, a lot of times it's just getting that wake word. Like I have trouble with Siri, getting her to
But
actually
then it would be
respond to me.
doing things when you're talking to somebody else. So
Exactly, that's the problem.
yeah,
There's not really any way around it, I guess.
I don't think so. It is amazing though. You think like technology has reached a level at which it can't get any better, and I think in some ways we probably have. But then somebody comes up with something. It's just like,
Yeah.
why didn't I think of that? That's so smart. But I haven't thought of it yet. So when I do, I'll cash the check and then I'll let you know.
It's the thing that sci-fi hasn't thought of yet, like even in
Yeah,
like the futuristic movies from the
yeah.
past, like 2001, like people are still on like
Computer.
telephones and yeah, like
Yeah.
tube TVs and all that
No,
stuff.
Dave, I will not do that for you.
Yeah. It's funny, you just can't predict it. But anyways,
Yeah.
um yeah, we're doing good. So, Luke, an important question. What have you been watching slash playing slash listening to this week?
So my watching and listening to actually blend together this
What?
week. So Apple TV released a special film about Billie Eilish called "The World Is a Little Blurry," and it's I don't even know what this kind of film would be called. It's how there's of course like biographical movies and documentary movies where the filmmaker will go in completely nonfiction direction where it's like these are the facts. I think of kind of like the big one that swept the country over the last summer was the Last Dance, the Michael
Yeah.
Jordan like thing. Whereas really, I actually didn't see it, but I think it was more about the team, but focusing around Jordan. But this is kind of a different thing. This is like a glimpse into Billy's life over what's probably 2 years, and there's zero narration. There's almost no like information even like put up. You know
Hmm.
how they'll be like, you know, on those murder shows, it'll be like they'll type out a bunch of stuff and you'll like read things about the case and like between like switching things and then the case was resolved here and the
Yeah.
lawyer like yeah, like none of that. It literally was just like 2018 was like like one of the only things like at the beginning it said 2018 and then it just went into it. I think some of this was probably just filmed by her family as well. It
Wow.
seemed like her mom was filming some of it, and clearly there was a lot of it filmed by probably just one cameraman. It is they're like in these tiny little rooms. Someone's filming her, and she's moving around, and whoever I can't remember that the guy's like right on the title of it. I don't know.
For the
I don't have it in
filmmaker?
front of me, but yeah, the guy who
Mm.
made this, whoever it was, he did such a great job of like cutting all these clips together and making it just feel supernatural, and it really came across like Billy felt very comfortable, like just being herself and just showing the world who she is. And I don't know what the plan is. This could have been something where it was just these things got filmed and then later on he collected them. Like this wasn't planned for the last 3 years. I really don't know. I'm just guessing
Hmm.
from the way it was filmed, but it was very intriguing. I really enjoyed that way. Sometimes I just like it, the narration to get out of the way and like just kind of, yeah, it was touching. I was definitely touched by it.
Oh.
It's a glimpse into a world that few will ever see. The mega stardom overnight that Billy has come into. I mean, she has over 80 million
Good
followers
Lord have
now
mercy.
on Instagram, and I
Wow.
mean, basically, she's won every Grammy at this point that you can win, along with her brother. I will say he's a talented guy. I've listened to his music as well, and it's well done. It just it's a talented young lady helping um, create music with her brother, who is also a super talented producer, musician. It's just a dynamic duo that their family ended up with, and really cool. But
That's cool.
of course, there's a lot that comes with this, and you see, the heavy burden that she has to bear being super famous. Having to have protection all the time and being mobbed everywhere she goes, and you just I came away with the feeling it's just you feel so bad for her. She's just
Yeah.
super talented. Like I love her writing. I think she's just a natural songwriter, but you also feel so bad that like what is basically just a little girl, just a child is like exposed to this intense pressure, like pressure that most adults have never felt, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Get to 80 years old and you never have gone through the stuff that she's gone through in the last 3 years. So, yeah. But it's a really good movie and you do have access to Apple TV Plus. I highly recommend it. It's just a cool glimpse into something you don't get to see from the outside.
Were there like a lot of musical performances in it as well, or?
Yeah, it really, I mean, it really just it felt like it went day to day, maybe week by week. You didn't really understand because, like I said, there's no information. It's just here's the next thing. It just kind of fades into the next scene. But it felt like it went like through it jumped from concert to tour and like some of the health issues he was having on tour and like it would show you parts of the
I see.
show and in some cases it would stay there for a whole song. Um, and then it would always show behind the scenes and then her leaving the concert and her going to the next interview and then her returning back to LA. It kind of jump around a little bit, but it kind of felt like it flowed like this is a glimpse into this year and then you kind of see okay it's Coachella so it's this time of the year and then it would move into the summer
Mm.
tour and so yeah she does a lot. She works hard.
Cool.
But yeah, all that being said, just of course I've been listening to Billy's music since then, and there's a song kind of close to the end of the movie. What is the name of it? I think it's "I Love You." Yeah, it's just "I Love You," and if you see the movie, you'll know the moment. But
Mm.
it's a touching moment with like her and her brother, like he's playing the guitar and she's singing, and clearly is a song that means a lot to her, and it's hard for her to sing and yeah, it clearly means a lot to the fans as well. They're just like people are crying like all over the
Oh
room and
wow.
but it's a good song. I mean, the whole album's just it's really good. It's I think people a lot of times and I'm guilty of it too nowadays. You take today's music a little bit for granted. It's like some of it's a little overproduced and I don't know, it just doesn't have the raw feeling a lot of times that like older music did, where it's like a singer-songwriter, like just with his guitar, somebody like Jimi Hendrix or somewhere where it's like you just kind of their raw talent's been on display and like and here, so many times you meet an artist by hearing them on the radio or something and this overproduced thing. And like I don't know, Billy's stuff, like this movie kind of showed me like, man, like this is like super heartfelt lyrics. This isn't somebody buying lyrics
Yeah.
from somebody who writes a song in Nashville. This is somebody that's like sitting down in the room with their brother, sharing like her journal entries from like growing up and like of
Mm.
course now, but like even when she was younger and like the title of the album, where do we go when we all fall asleep? When we all fall asleep, where do we go? Is like a title from like a dark time when she was younger.
Mm.
And yeah, it's cool, but yeah, just really heartfelt lyrics that I think that's why she has so many fans and is connected with so many people. She is herself,
Yeah.
as hard as it is for her to do that, she shows who she is. And yeah,
Right on.
sorry.
No, no, no,
That's
no. That's
said a
very
lot.
cool. I've listened to some pop stuff as well. This week, a new band I got into called Nightly. I don't have much to say about them. They're just they're a good, chill,
Yeah.
kind of 80s-ish sounding band. Good stuff. But you know what? We talked about this a while back. I never really listened to Post Malone like at all, and lately. Or recently, I should say, it's the Pokemon 25th anniversary has occurred, and
Mhm.
the strangest thing is they teamed up with Post Malone.
Not to do an original song.
No, not to do an original song, but to do Hootie and the Blowfish's
Yeah.
I Only Want to Be With You.
Mhm.
Very strange. And then, it's fine. It's fine. They like put a little bit of Pokemon music in there. It's fine. But I listened
It's
to
just a strange mix of like
so
things. That's what's so weird about
strange.
it.
I know. I didn't even understand it. I'm like, what does this have to do with Pokemon? Like,
I like the song, but it was like, what?
yeah.
Pokemon? Like I saw it like scrolling by when I'm listening, like, what?
I know. I was like, why Pokemon? He's what? Does he only want to be with Pikachu? What in the world? um,
I
but
wonder if he was a big Pokemon player. May have
you
been.
think I
Like
don't
red
know.
and blue when he was younger.
Yeah. Um, but it led me to his other music. I was on his Spotify. And I was like, all right, it's time. And so I was listening to a lot of his popular albums, and his most recent albums actually what I listened to the most, and also some of his
Hollywood is
bigger
bleeding.
hits. Yeah, that have some of these songs have billions of listens, and so it's
Yeah.
impressive. But I dig it. He's good. Like it's one of those things I listen to. I'm like, no, he's good. He's definitely a great songwriter. He's a great producer.
Literally billions. Isn't that insane?
Billions,
Like you
billions.
skipped over that real quick, but this one has 2.1 billion.
Yeah,
2.1.
took me a while to
Not 1
process
billion.
that.
That's
Looking at it, I
crazy.
was like,
Rockstar.
how
It's
many?
crazy.
Yeah, but great stuff. He's good. There is something unique there.
Yeah.
But yeah, good stuff. Anyways, what have you been watching slash playing, Luke?
Just a few things. Of course, the world is a little blurry. It was one. But they did like a whole revamp to like Call of Duty here recently.
Hmm.
They've changed the battle royale map up, which is cool because they really hadn't done much of that. I'm talking about Warzone specifically. Hadn't done much a lot of hadn't done much of that. Like Apex Legends, of course, has and Fortnite, of course, kind of started the whole single map, change it all up and never enter a new map, which I think is such a interesting ploy because the classic thing, dating back, I think of kind of the beginning of this would be Halo 2, when it was on Xbox Live and like getting new maps, like that was like the
Yeah.
cool thing. It's like you literally had to go and buy a disc with the extra maps
Oh
on
my
it.
God, that's
Like
right.
Ascension, I think, was on there, and Zanzibar.
Wow, the dark
Um,
ages.
yeah, and so like for a long time since then, that's just kind of been the ploy. Like you get a game, Rainbow Six Siege or something, and new maps come out. Cool, awesome. And I feel like Fortnite, it's like it's a cool idea, but also it's like, man, that's so brilliant because you probably spend so much less money in
Yeah.
development having the same map and just like crashing a star into it, or
Yeah.
a ship comes crashing down, or an area gets flooded, or God, you can do whatever you want, dig a trench, like literally do whatever you
Hmm.
want. That's what Fortnite got so much attention when they had like the world, like the sky broke open and then
Yeah, black
something
hole
came
or
crashing
something.
down. The whole map got like vanquished, and then it was like black. You couldn't get into the game, and then all of a sudden it like came back with the new map. It's like that's so brilliant. Like,
Yeah.
why not make this big thing out of it instead of like just, oh, here's 5 new maps, awesome, cool. Like, keep that. Anyways, all
That
that being
went in a
said,
new direction, a different direction than I thought it was gonna go.
well, I just it's I think it's kind of lazy in one way, but it's also really smart in another way.
Yeah.
It's like, why not save the money and just make this one map like this crazy evolving thing, and yeah, save money and people pay attention. It's like, what's gonna happen now? The mystery.
Yeah, you can add
Oh,
Master
there's
Chief
been
and
this asteroid in the sky for weeks. Oh, what's gonna happen? It's
yeah.
like, yeah, on top of of course, bringing new characters in, which gets IGN articles written about it. So
Every week it seems.
brilliant.
It's crazy.
And the fact that they've been able to work with all these publishers as well to bring these characters in is
Yeah.
pretty amazing too. So yeah. Anyways, yeah. So they added some new zombie modes. They added a new cool zombie mode where instead of you going into one map with zombies, surviving for a certain number of times, you go into a map, a huge map, like almost as big as a battle royale map, and then there's like different things you can go around. There's zombies all around the map. You go around with 4 of you, and you do different little missions, and then when you're ready to, you can use this like teleporter thing and go through this wormhole, which will then put you in an entirely different map.
Say
I think
what?
there's like 3 or 4 of them, and then you do different missions there as well, and each time you go through the portal, it ups the level. So it's like instead of it being rounds, it now says like 2. It says the world has now gotten harder. The
Huh.
zombies are harder to kill, bosses are harder to kill, your weapons don't do as much damage, and then you keep progressing like that. I assume there's some kind of ending. I've never lived past World 3. It's super hard.
Goodness.
They have these crazy new bosses that are intense, but it's just interesting. The open world zombies. That's a new thing
Yeah.
that's never been done before. So yeah,
That's
thought that
part
might be.
of Warzone.
No, that's part of the zombies mode in Black Ops.
Gotcha. Okay.
So they actually did a cool thing as part of them changing the map in Warzone. They crashed a boat into the shore, and now that ship is invaded with zombies. So you
Oh.
can like go in there and start zombies invading while people are like flying in and trying to kill
Huh.
you, which is just it's insane because of course everyone's going to that because it's the new thing.
Yeah.
It says like shipwreck and it's like crossed out. Yeah, you go down there and the zombies like immediately attack you.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's just cool that Activision. What's the can't remember who did this most recent game. Treyarch, I think, did the new game.
Hmm.
They're mixing it up, keeping things interesting. And I was just telling our buddy CJ that I was thinking Warzone, it needed something. It was like they've done a few things here and there, but this is like completely different. And I didn't even know this was coming, so it was nice. And I mentioned it, and then it happens, and I'm sure I made it happen, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Congratulations.
but I'm glad they followed my advice and finally changed up a few things. And I appreciate it. I'll tell you what else you should do next here soon. One last thing, I watched this Netflix movie called I Care a Lot. It's the Rosamund Pike movie. Yeah, I always wonder, like with these new movies, like how much can I say, when I'm talking about it. The basic idea is this lady is a legal guardian for elderly people, and she's right on the edge of legal and also kind of a con artist. She's like
Hmm.
she lives in this gray area where what she's doing is legal, but yeah, it's not very honest.
Yeah.
And she sells off the people's stuff when they go into a home, and she makes money for herself, and she messes with the wrong woman. So
Snap.
craziness ensues. This is definitely worth a watch. I came away from it very frustrated, and maybe after you watch this, we can talk about why.
That's
But
what I've heard about this one.
yeah, it has an interesting dynamic that not a lot of movies do. It follows that all the way to the end. So watch it, Jordan.
I will. I'll have to check that out. Well, I'm trying to watch more Netflix stuff. I'm like paying for this subscription. I rarely watch Netflix, to be honest, and so I gotta get into some of this original content because I hear there's a lot of good stuff. So
It's interesting. I thought this was a Netflix movie, but according to Wikipedia, Netflix and Prime Video.
oh, hmm.
Oh, it just says depending on the region. Hmm,
Oh,
that's interesting.
that is weird.
Yeah, I thought it was just it says distributed by Netflix in the description. Maybe they partner up with Prime Video where they don't have a presence in other markets.
Okay.
Maybe that's what it is. But it's a Netflix thing here in
Yeah.
the US, so watch it on Netflix.
All right, will do. Got anything else, man?
No.
Okay. So yeah, I watched Superman and Lois just to bring that up. I thought it was good. It was good. Surprisingly, it's good. I can't believe it, but I think they're trying to do something different, veer away from all the other Arrowverse stuff. And yeah, it's a good Superman story. I'd say it's worth checking out. Though I will say this, it's a little difficult. I mean, like with the CW stuff, they're not on like the episodes don't come on like say Hulu after they air or anything like that. So it's one of those things where it's like you have to just watch it as it's on or resort to go into the CW app. And you have to be pretty on top of things to watch on the CW app. You can't be super behind or your episodes will disappear. And that app is all right. It's okay. But anyways, watch that. Speaking of Netflix stuff, I tried out a documentary series called Crime Scene: Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. Have you heard of this?
I think I just saw it on the homepage.
Yeah, it's part of that you may have even seen this video a long time ago. I remember seeing this video go viral with Elisa Lamb, this young woman at a hotel, and there's footage of her on an elevator, and she looks like she's hiding from someone, and also she's kind of like doing some weird things, like looking around and waving her hands in weird directions, and then she disappears that very night. And it's about that mystery, and it's after watching so much unsolved mysteries, it's kind of nice to have a show where it's a solved thing. It's a thing that is known as to what happened to her. So it's interesting. Check it out if you're interested in that. I will say this though, it's a little long. I feel like it could have been condensed into 2 episodes, whereas it's 4. I feel like there's a little bit of indulgence as far as its length, but pretty interesting stuff. Check it out. I'm still playing Resident Evil 2. Yeah, the remake of Resident Evil 2.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have the same problem with Resident Evil 2 as I did with Resident Evil 7. When I say problem, I mean the intense stress that would really bug me. I'd get really just nervous and freaked out playing Resident Evil 7. But with 2, you know, it's third person. That's less scary. You're a cop. That's a little bit more empowering. You're in a police precinct instead of an old southern home. It's less scary. And it's zombies. It's extremely identifiable as to what's going on. That's less scary.
Biohazard just felt like you were there to just watch something and then be scared by it. It didn't feel like you were like doing it. Like I want a lot more action in my horror. I don't.
Yeah.
You know,
that, you know, honestly,
what you're saying.
Honestly, it's like that's in a way Resident Evil. I mean, there's a few where there's a lot more action, like 4 and 5, where it's like you have a lot more to do. But in these games,
it felt to me like they were going in the right direction with that, and then they kind of went back the other way.
It's that survival horror kind of thing where it's like, well. I remember like feeling like when I was last playing, I was like, all right, sweet. I think I'm loaded up pretty good on ammo. 8 shotgun shells.
Yeah.
I remember like stopping myself in the middle of that feeling, being like, wait a minute, I don't have anything. All it takes is one crazy encounter and it's all gone. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of wandering around, finding the item that you need to progress into the next area, and you know, stuff like that. And then you run into zombies. Man, they are, for as little ammo as they give you, these things are bullet sponges. You'll like, it's not like, oh, you shoot them in the head 2 times, it's over. No, you could shoot them in the head so many times and like they'll go down and then like they take so long getting back up. It's that way on purpose. So you like think I got him, and then you walk by and they're like, ah, or whatever. But no, I'm like, okay, move, go ahead, jump or whatever, and then I'll finish them off. But I'm like, great, thanks for using all of my ammunition. But so it's a good game. I'm enjoying it just because, yeah, it's tense, but not too tense, and it's nice looking, that's for sure. It plays so much better than even Resident Evil 4 or 5, because with 4 and 5, you're going around, oh, zombie, and then you have to stop dead in your tracks if you want to aim and shoot. And so now you can pivot around, and
that's true,
and walk around as you go and stuff like that.
that something that's a change from the original?
Yeah. I don't
like part of the update.
Yeah, exactly. With this 2 remake, it's very
those are
different.
tank controls, right? Isn't that what that's called?
Yeah, it was tank controls in Resident Evil 1 through 3. Then in 4, it was kind of like a fusion between tank controls and something a little bit more modern, and it continued to improve.
But it still was definitely slow. I mean,
oh yeah.
You could only move limited amounts after you pulled your gun out.
Oh yeah, you could just aim basically at that point once you pulled your gun out. Yeah, and so
it's the worst.
I going back to that, because every now and then I'll go back to it. I have it on Switch, the Resident Evil 4. Yeah, it's always jarring when I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta stop, and then run back. Okay, run back. Okay, it's very strange. Lastly, I said I was gonna watch it, and I did. Tom and Jerry on HBO Max. Straight to HBO
Made
Max.
other choices.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a what you see is what you get kind of thing. There's no surprise, it's really good, or surprise, it's a lot worse than you could even dream. No, it's about as good as it looks, which, it's not the worst example of this sort of thing I've seen. Like, I think something like Smurfs and is actually worse. I don't know what.
It wasn't a train wreck, but it was something just before that.
There were moments I was really nervous. It was one of those things where I'm like, "Are we gonna shut this off?" Like I was looking at Amber, and she was actually watching it with me, and she was just like, "Oh my god!" During certain moments, like it's very focused on the human characters, which is strange. And so it's so jarring. It's always that one thing where you're watching a scene of them like solving their hotel drama, and you're like, imagine coming in at this moment and like seeing this, and then all of a sudden, boom, Tom and Jerry, and you're like, wait, what? It's so strange.
Yeah, it felt like that from the trailer. It was like this doesn't have any place in the real world.
Yeah.
It's cell shaded.
Yeah. And I know what the animation, I'm really mixed on it. There were times where I'm like, this is not appealing to me because it's like cell shaded 3D. It's not like
Yeah.
Roger Rabbit where it's like, no, these are hand drawn. No, it's like it's some mixture between cell shaded and hand drawn and 3D. And sometimes it looks strange, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I like this. But yeah, I can't really recommend it, man. I laughed a few times. I mean, I'll say that there were a few times where I laughed, but I mean, that's not enough in an hour and 40-minute movie. But there were some times I chuckled here and there. Yeah,
just clearing the deck for Zack Snyder's Justice League
I
cut.
suppose so. Yeah, I mean, one thing that I thought was something where I was like, no, enough of this is the music. The music is, I don't know. It was so bad. I'll comment often when the music's good, but this time the music's bad. And it's constant. There is so much music in it. And like for some reason they go with like this R&B style music, which yeah, Tom and
You
Jerry.
think it'd be like
yeah, bump 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 bump, that kind of deal.
Here comes the cat, here comes the mouse.
And that stuff can be painful too, but there's something weird when like there's just a scene of like Tom or Jerry going up like this going up the wall trying to find his home, and this loud R&B is like bum 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 bum, and I'm just like, what is this? Why? And it's painful at times, but
it's a shame.
Yeah, again, it's not the worst. There are parts that are funny. There are parts where I'm like, okay, that could have been a good idea, but yeah, and God bless Michael Pena and Chloe Grace Moretz. Like, you can tell that they're actors who can act and are trying to do a good job with what they're given. But
yeah, what can you say?
There's parts when like Chloe Grace Moretz is interacting with Tom, and that's when it's like, it's a certain skill to interact with something that is not there.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it's when she's interacting with the other real actors, it's like night and day between when she's interacting with Tom or with Jerry, and she's like putting her hands on her hips being like, excuse me, or something. I'm like, okay, this is, but yeah, no surprises here. Not great.
Yeah, unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, 2 weeks away from Justice League here, just about. That's crazy.
Indeed, it is. So many questions. Will we get our answers?
Maybe. I heard something the other day that infuriated me about Justice League. It left me like saying, "Are you freaking kidding me?" That it ends on a massive cliffhanger.
It's so, yeah, I feel like the future of DC is so in the weeds at this point that, man, crazy. Like, what could they possibly do? I wonder if they're You know, here, I'll put this into perspective. I was looking at comingsoon.net, which I'll look at sometimes for movie news, and the Superman show on CW that you just watched has already been renewed. So I wonder, is this a common thing for like, heads of studios and stuff to like be sitting there waiting? I don't even know what would be the equivalent of, waiting on the reviews to come in, like looking at the next morning's papers and see what the New York Times reviewer, I don't know what that equivalent is now, but are these producers, are these, executives like waiting on the response? Because like, I'm saying that to say like, are they waiting, until March 19th?
Oh
The
my
next
God.
morning after everyone's watched it
Surprise! Here
to
comes Zack
say
Snyder
like,
Cut Part 2.
we're gonna do more Justice League movies, or we're
Oh
gonna
my God.
do, or we're gonna do more movies in this universe, or do we need to reboot everything? Like, could it really be that significant?
I am
Maybe.
almost certain that you're correct about that. I think the feeling
It's
you have
crazy
is
that decisions
justified.
are made like that.
Yeah,
If
it's
if it's true, obviously.
reactionary as can be. I mean, really reactionary. And it's
That kind of stuff I think can get you in trouble because the internet, just people. I really don't like it when people say the internet because it's not the internet. It's how people have always been. It's just being posted out now.
yeah.
People are reading this garbage. Too much weight is being given on people's opinions who are on Twitter. But
Oh yeah.
all that being said,
You think?
I just think it's just people's opinions can be so fickle, and it can be, whether it's a pandemic or I don't know, something else happening. Like people can sway, ebb and sway, and like you really have to just decide. Like I'm gonna make something that is interesting to me, and I think is going to be interesting to other people. You can't be swayed by that kind of. I mean, think about something like Joker. Like, was anybody clamoring for this like super dark art house movie? No, and it was nominated for an Oscar. Like,
yeah.
and just being that it was great, it got a lot of attention, and it ended up making the most of any R-rated superhero movie. So it's like that's not the kind of thing that would ever be made if you're sitting there on the edge of your seat waiting to see what the internet says about Zack Snyder's cut. Like, so yeah, it's a dangerous way to run your studio.
There's a lack of confidence and vision, I think, is what's behind the wheel with a lot of those kind of decisions, where it's like, let's
And
see.
then I feel like I'm sorry to
No,
interrupt
go
you.
ahead.
I just had a thought. And then you have kind of the other side of that where you have Netflix. And specifically, I was just watching a Netflix show that I didn't even mention because it was kind of like you and Tom and Jerry. It's just I decided to turn it off because it was like I watched the first like 5 minutes. It's called The Wilds, about these like girls that are going on this private retreat and they crash land on this island and they survive and something happens and some kind of mystery. But within the first like 5 minutes, I'm like, this is awful. I'm turning this off immediately. The acting was terrible. The script was terrible. It was a piece of garbage. But it's like there's so many that are greenlit on Netflix, and I feel like so much of it is trash.
Yeah.
And sometimes even the stuff that is risen to the top, I'm like, that's it's a lot better quality than that other garbage. But anyways, there's also that. So it's like, yeah, I can see how it's obviously hard to run a company like
Yeah, absolutely.
Warner Brothers or Netflix. It's obviously difficult, but I don't know. I mean, Warner Brothers, you got to try something different because it's working.
Absolutely. An unenviable position, but you can tell
Yeah.
when things are going wrong.
And it matters a lot more to you and I because these are characters that we care about. These are characters that we want, quality movies to be made, and it's not happening.
Yep.
We want, a return to greatness for Batman. That's a big thing for me. I mean, I love Superman as well, but it's like I haven't minded where Superman has kind of gone recently, but
Same.
Batman to me is just like the next one's Dark Knight. Is that the name of it?
No,
The
it's called The Batman.
Oh, The Batman. What am I saying? Of course,
La
it's not
Batman.
Dark Knight. Yeah, I knew it was some simple thing.
Yeah, something with the thrown at the beginning of it, of course.
The detective will be the next one.
You either add the or take away the.
Caped Crusader.
Yeah, exactly. I was
I
always
that
thinking
being another one.
What name have they not?
Wouldn't be a bad one.
Yeah.
Crusader.
Because that was the funny thing with Superman. They're like, oh, they did the Dark Knight with Batman. How about we do Man of Steel, because
Yeah.
that's the nickname we give
Yeah.
Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone saw it coming. But
Yeah.
anywho, so let's check in with our friends over at Marvel Studios, as they have given a name to the next Spider-Man movie. They did like a little tease thing where there was like a bunch of fake titles being posted by the actors, account like Zendaya and Tom Holland, like Homewrecker and I don't know, something else,
Homewreck.
but yeah, silly stuff. And we were like, good Lord, thank God it's not that. But in either way, it is No Way Home,
Mm-hmm.
which implications?
Yeah, it's hard to even know where. Yeah, I've talked about it. It's hard to even know where the Marvel universe is headed at this point. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting. You know, what effect does the whole the what was it, 5 year gap? You know, what effect has that had
Gosh,
on our heroes and their timelines? And yeah, very interesting. I
absolutely.
wonder if any. I guess that's too far, Luke.
No, what?
Far. Just say, I wonder if there's going to be any stories about what happened to these people when they vanished. Like, is there some other world maybe they went to?
Just in this little floaty realm.
Some holding universe that they were in for 5 years and then they got pushed back there.
Dude, it's a possibility.
I don't know. I mean, WandaVision, who thought that was going to happen?
No one.
Who thought that show was going to be what it was?
Yeah.
So anything's kind of possible at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
What if, right? What if is coming, so it could be in the what if universe.
Absolutely. And I think that would be really cool, actually, if they connected where they went after the blip or the snap or whatever they're calling it, where they went when they disappeared. If it wasn't just nowhere and they got unexisted, but if they existed somewhere else, that would be interesting.
I thought the soul gem, those souls that went there were actually in this other place, like the soul gem world or whatever. And I thought that's what they kind of showed at the end of it would be in Endgame,
Infinity War, right?
when he saw his daughter.
Yeah, that deleted scene or whatever where he's like, "Hey, honey," or whatever.
I thought that was the soul gem world.
Yeah, I think maybe they were toying around with that, and I think, kind of backed away from it. I think they may have gone in that direction as far as the soul gem, and I think they kind of, when they deleted that scene, I think they may have deleted other things too. Maybe, I don't know.
Was there was nothing? I thought it showed him in the movie. It's been too long since I watched it.
No, they showed Thanos at the crossroad or whatever, that one area in the Soul Gym where with the whole, was it worth it or whatever?
Yeah.
Would you lose everything?
Yeah.
And then there's a deleted scene from Endgame where when Tony does the snap, it happens to him too, and he sees like a future version of his daughter.
No, I know. I thought in the actual cut there was something, but
No,
okay.
yeah,
Just not.
Just bye. Yeah. So with the not Far From Home, my gosh, it's gonna be hard for me to actually get these titles straight.
Yeah,
honestly.
very similar titles.
Yeah, but especially these last two, because there's the three words. No Way Home. Do you think this is gonna be like a he's on the, like, No Way Home, like he's on the run, because like obviously he's probably gonna be wanted or something after the reveal of after Far From Home, or do you think it's gonna have something to do with like the multiverse or something like that?
So I don't really what I'm confused at is, like, where's the timeline there in, between what happened at Endgame and then what happened Far From Home?
Well, in Far From Home takes place after Endgame. So that's like really shortly after Endgame too, because they're like, yeah, this kid, he used to be this little runt, now he's like this big kid because 5 years has passed and all that stuff. And so that took place after everyone came back. And this, what it seems like, is that No Way Home, you'd think, would be shortly after that movie, especially because of how Far From Home ended with that sort of cliffhanger. or a stinger or whatever you want to call it, with them finding out who's that Spider-Man's Peter Parker. When I say they, I mean the world, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. There's obviously I'd have to think about that. That'll be interesting. I mean, he's in Europe at this point, you know. Uh, yeah, I don't know. My thought would be that he kind of in that whole movie he was really dealing with the loss of Tony, and whether or not he was
Yeah.
going to replace him or whatever, and the glasses and all that happened. So my thought would be that he never really kind of came to grips with that and dealt with that. It kind of got sidetracked by
I felt so
what
too.
happened, which I kind of thought was kind of ridiculous. What happened in that movie? So many good things, and then what? So, anyways, I think it seems like they might go back to that. Would be my guess. Like, it's still a lot of things have happened, and he's still a young kid, and he's got a lot to deal with. So, yeah, I guess I'm saying that to say I hope that's the direction they go in. Him thinking about Cap, and him thinking about Tony, and then like kind of making a plan for what's going to happen next, and then in this movie, hopefully moving in that direction and becoming who he's going to become.
Yeah, I'd like it to be like at the end, be like you feel like, okay, like some sense of status quo happens, instead of like, because right now, like in these movies, like it seems like it's always in flux, and there's never like, okay, he can just be Spider-Man now,
Yeah.
But anyways, interesting. We'll see. Hopefully we get a trailer at some point. It comes out this Christmas or December, I guess I should say December 14th, something like that, in theaters only, as they said in boldly in the title, only in theaters this December.
Good.
So yeah, there's that.
Kevin Feige has said that the Netflix heroes are on the slate. So that's really exciting.
Oh, sweet.
They're on the board. They are definitely a possibility to return. So
That's great. That's really good.
I think we probably could do it. I think a lot of that stuff comes back to us, says Feige. There's always rumors online about things reverting. Sometimes that's true, sometimes it's not. I'm not exactly sure the exact contracts, but perhaps someday.
All right, good. Make it happen. Everyone
So it
wants
sounds
it.
like he's like fighting for that.
Great.
At least somewhat.
I feel like you'd want to. You have like these heroes that people like, and they fit into the universe close enough, at least, where you can add them
and
in.
The Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show as well.
Yeah, they're such huge fans. The people have such, I mean, there's a lot of fans of those shows. Like, I know people who are like, love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And so, yeah, I mean, I think they could figure out a way to kind of work that in. It's like, obviously, I mean, after seeing what they've done with WandaVision and like, what they're doing, it's not over yet as of this recording. Seeing what they're doing, it's like, wow, they can go there. The way they've, I don't want to spoil WandaVision, so I'm trying to
I'm
be
not
careful.
even up to date.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is it. This Friday. This is the supposed final episode. So of the.
I honestly kind of like just waiting so I can just watch it all. It's kind of frustrating to be like, what day is it? When is it?
Just keeping track of it. In a way, I like the week to week in a way, because like it's something that I miss, to be like, oh, me wondering about it and theorizing for a week and then getting some answers, instead of just it's over and I'm wondering just as I'm watching it.
I would agree if I didn't have a lot of other things to do right now.
The proposition gets a little muddied, I guess. When,
it does. I'm worried more about just sleeping at night right now. So.
Oh, you're not laying awake wondering about the multiverse and who's the villain in WandaVision or something?
I wish I had time to do
that. Couple things before we wrap up. We don't have too much time left. Sony had a state of play. People weren't too pleased with it, I guess. Expectations, right? I guess, or sky high, knowing all the things that could come out and all the things that they know are coming out. People are wanting to see God of War and things for like
we are in a post-COVID year.
Yeah,
I guess I guess that's one way of putting it. But like a post-COVID working year is what I mean. It's like we've had a year, almost a year now, of people working in these conditions. So production is going to be much less than it has been in years past.
No kidding. Yeah. Couple things I guess from that are cool. They showed more of Pena Bridge of Spirits. I don't know if you've seen much of this game, Luke, but
I went through a quick like thing about what was announced.
yeah,
I kind of know.
a lot of it was stuff we've seen already and updates on games. But Kena Bridge of Spirits was announced a while back, and it's been given a release date for August. A lot of people are hyped about it. Me and Amber both are really excited about it. It's an indie developer, but that game looks gorgeous. I was like, this game looks incredible.
It'd
Indie
look
developer.
interesting.
They're selling it for $40. So I'm curious as to what the game's like. Is it really short? I don't know, because I can't imagine a game that looks that impressive being like this long thing. It doesn't need to be a long thing. It could be, I'm fine with it being like a 8-hour experience, especially if it's like $40, but man, that game looks pretty. Goodness gracious. Other than that, there was a few announcements. Like there was this Kung Fu game, a Sifu. I thought that looked pretty cool. It's like a beat 'em up. I don't know if it's like a full price kind of game or if it's more of like an indie game. It's kind of like going down hallways and beating people up, but it's cool. We don't get a lot of Kung Fu games. Have you ever kind of thought of that? There's not a lot of games where it's like, there's a lot of sword games, there's a lot of shooting games and magic games, but there's not a lot of games where there's like, we're just, using martial arts.
What's this isn't exactly what you're, is it Streets of Rage? No. What's the game, the beat 'em up was like your two brothers and you're going down the street. It's like a Sega Genesis game or something.
Yeah, you're right. Streets of Rage.
Streets of Rage, yeah. Like that's not exactly Kung Fu, but it's like, yeah, we haven't had game like similar to that in a while. But
yes,
I guess it's a product of its time a little bit because of the 2D was kind of the edge of technology at that point, and
it's like we're translating that idea to like a 3D thing where instead of going down a street where you're like kind of ushered along by the screen, we're going down a hallway, and that's cool.
Just beat 'em ups in general just aren't really being made at this point.
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden would be the one that I think should come back, and they could, reboot it, refresh it, make it new. I think I hear people refer to Black as just this game that just was so great, and we haven't had something like that in a long time.
Yeah,
almost similar to like a Souls-like, where it's super hard, challenging, but action, kung fu, ninja, whatever category you want to put it in. But that's such a cool Japanese thing. I just think that stuff's so cool. It's not really my type of game, but I do think it's like awesome.
Yeah,
awesome kind of game.
And it just made me realize, we have a lot of swords and lightsabers and shields and spears and guns, but yeah, we just don't have a lot of fists and kicks when it comes to games like that, really. And so that's cool.
Just like a ninja game in general would be awesome. Like a stealth ninja game, like a Splinter Cell, but you're a ninja. That'd be so cool.
Looking forward to it. But really the only other big thing I think is the, Final Fantasy VII DLC announcement, and also is that it will be on PS5, meaning, 4K 60 kind of deal. Great. One weird thing about that though, a couple weird things about it though. Leave it to Square and Sony to make some very strange decisions here. This isn't too bad of a thing, at least not for me. So how it works is if you own Final Fantasy VII, you get the upgrade for free and you just have to purchase the DLC. Best case scenario in my mind. That's exactly what I hope for. That's great. That works great for me. But couple weird things. Nothing too insane and awful, but just a couple of strange things. One, that DLC with Yuffie, it's only available for PlayStation 5 users, which is strange, right? Isn't that strange? Because this is a PlayStation 4 game that's just getting a PlayStation 5 version, and the DLC is only available on PlayStation 5. So for people who are still out there who love this game and are still having a hard time getting a PlayStation 5 or unable to afford one yet, just sucks if you can't do it by June. You're just
it's so strange.
it's strange. You're like, what did they do that made it to
I
where
guess
they
it's
couldn't?
up to the publishers, but man, Sony, I feel like they need to strong arm these people. Like that's not the right way to treat our
Yeah.
customers. Like you shouldn't punish people for depending on what platform they're on. That's
Mhm.
just outrageous. If they, if they want to charge something because you're moving from PS4 to PS5, that's one thing, but yeah, I just don't like that.
DLC is a strange thing to be console exclusive as far as generation gaps, the DLC. A game I
Yeah.
get, but to say, the game you play it, but the DLC, it's strange. It's the same engine, all that stuff. But what are they going to do in that game that they couldn't do on PlayStation 4? But but the other strange thing is it's like a strange thing, but sort of a good thing. I don't really get it. It's a very odd thing. All right, so Final Fantasy VII is one of the PlayStation Plus games for the month of March. Very cool. Like that's awesome. That's a pretty recent game, and pretty like big giant game to be released on PlayStation Plus. But if you don't already own this game and you get the game via PlayStation Plus, that version is not eligible for a free update to the PlayStation 5 version when that
I did hear
along.
that. Mm-hmm.
Just odd. Like if I were them, I wouldn't have even bothered. I would just been like, you know what? I don't know why you'd even, if you're going to have that sort of decision, I wouldn't have even bothered putting it on PlayStation Plus to begin with if there's going to be this weird catch that...
And it's going to make people mad.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people who just do not realize that. Like, obviously, it's just so strange. They're like, yay, we get it. And I can't wait to play it on PlayStation 5. And then they realize, oh, shoot, you have to pay full price for it, which, that's not great. I mean...
So you have to crack out your PlayStation 4? You literally have to plug it in?
No.
You can't play the old version on your PS5?
You definitely can. You can play the old version of the PlayStation 5. It's just a strange thing. If you get the game via the PlayStation Plus free game, that version of the game is not upgradable to the PlayStation 5 version when it comes out. It's just a strange kind of thing. It's not the worst. Again, it's not like that's terrible, but it's just like...
the PlayStation 5, is that adding like higher frame rate and better resolution? That's the big thing.
Yeah, frame rate, resolution, loading times, different like visual effects like geometric fog and lighting improvements. There's a lot of stuff like that looks very nice. And I'm very excited about it. Looking forward to replaying that game. Now that gives me a good excuse to do it. But yeah, stuff like that. Just the general stuff. Not like there's been... What?
Too many publishers have given that stuff away. That's part of the issue.
Exactly. It's very strange to see how so many publishers are handling this. I mean, like you get a lot of them I think are doing good at this. A lot of them are doing a good job giving it for free without any weird catch or anything like that. But then there's just something that'll come along that'll be strange. It'll either be an upcharge or make sure you don't get it via PlayStation Plus or else it's not free. It's just some strange things here and there. Like the Tony Hawk, that's going to get a next gen version, but I think it comes at the cost of like a bit of an upgrade fee or something like that.
Oh, really?
Which isn't the worst. It's just,
I'd be interested in knowing what the details on that are.
It's like $10 maybe.
I obviously own it.
Yeah, because it costs $10 more than than it does like if you get it now. Like it costs $10 more. Like I think it's like $40 and this...
I think it was 40 when I bought it.
Yeah, and this version is 50. So it makes sense if you're like, okay, $10 and you get whatever. So yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much the state of play. Cool. Last video game thing here is there was a Pokemon presentation that happened to celebrate. It happened like right on the button. If you were in Japan, it came out like at midnight on the Pokemon 25th anniversary. So it was a celebration of that, and also we're gonna announce some stuff. Basically, update on Pokemon Snap.
I'm sorry, say that one more time. It's 25 years from what? What actually happened 25 years ago?
From Red.
The first?
From the first game. The release of the first game in Japan.
But so before that, there were just the cards?
Nope, it started with the games. Yeah, it started with the Game Boy
Wow.
games. And then it was the anime.
I didn't even know about the games. I knew about the cards. That's my first introduction.
Yeah.
My friends and I trading cards.
Yeah, I was introduced to it through the anime, and then I was like, "Oh shoot, this is based off a game, sweet!" And I played the game. Then I think it all came at me at once. Really, it was like a big blitz with like, "Here's the game, here's the anime, and here's the cards." It was brilliant. They did it. They did it, man.
Roped you in.
Yeah, they had like this montage where they showed off like all of the things that basically Pokemon have done in the last 25 years in this like short 5-minute montage where they're like, here's this game, here's this anime, here's this movie, here's this cards, here's this weird peripheral that you didn't know about. Just, a lot of it just like was like, holy crap. It opened my eyes and reminded me how big Pokemon is as a thing. But yeah, few things coming out. Pokemon Snap's coming out next month. New Pokemon Snap. Yeah, that's cool. I'm looking forward to that. Not super hyped, but looking forward to it. It's a Pokemon the photo mode, the game.
I was looking at the numbers. That it's insane. The mobile game of I guess it's just Pokemon mobile game. I don't know. It says 1 billion mobile downloads.
What in the world?
Insane. There's more than 368 million copies sold of like video game series, like basically all the video games, and then 1 billion mobile downloads.
Good grief! Is that Pokemon Go?
I guess there's mobile game. Yeah. I guess
probably a combination.
Is there anything before that?
Nope. I think Pokemon Go was the first, and then there's like Pokemon Cafe, Pokemon
That's insane,
Masters.
because that was only a couple years ago.
Yeah, 2015, man.
Nuts.
But yeah, the big ones are there's a remake of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl in a shining diamond and brilliant pearl. It's basically in like an HD 3D version of the DS game. Like, we talk about remasters and remakes a lot on this podcast, and there's so many variations where you have things that are like, wow, this is the same game but it looks good as crap, like Shadow of the Colossus, or wow, this is just a ground up completely different game like Final Fantasy VII. This is a pretty standard remake where it's the exact same art style as the old game, but it's just 3D models and HD. I mean, that's pretty much it.
How much are they charging?
$60.
You know my feelings on these kind of things,
dude. I'm
spoiled over in Xbox world.
Dude, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. They release, look at what we just mentioned this, that you bought Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, which is in the pretty much the same game, but it looks good as crap version of that. $40.
I mean, it's a whole new game, really. I mean, it looks just like the old game, but man, they must have put some work into that.
Yep.
Because you could tell it's not exactly the same game, obviously, because those like levels and everything are such low quality. So it's like, while we're doing this, we might as well add a bunch of detail and like cool things, because there was like side by side I was looking at, and it's like, well, that looks so much better. There's like, pipes on the wall and like paintings and like texture and like, it's essentially the old game, but so much better. It's just,
an incredible
cool
package.
What they did to it.
It really is, and it's so shiny and nice. But
yeah, it's the same as like Master Chief Collection.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, looks so much better.
A lot of people online on the Twitter were bringing that up when talking about Pokemon and how other collections are treated. Like Master Chief.
Microsoft could have brought each Master Chief out.
Yeah.
What am I talking? Each Halo game out, like one by one, and been like, this is an anniversary edition of this. $60, please. This is an anniversary edition of Reach or something. And look at this, 60 frames. And
now there's 6 games in
they
that
said,
package.
here you go, and we're going to keep updating them forever for free. All you have to do is pay it once. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nintendo Game Freak. I mean, am I, looking forward to this game? I'll probably play it. I never played the original Diamond and Pearl. Yeah, but it's begrudgingly, and I'm mad. I am mad at the fact that I feel like they disrespect our money like that, where it's like, it's
Nobody's
clear
punishing them, Jordan. Nobody's punishing them.
that that's true. There's going to be enough people, I guess, like myself, who will begrudgingly buy it and be like, well, I mean, how else am I getting my Pokemon game? And it
Yeah,
sucks.
it's so frustrating.
It really does suck. I mean, it's just, yeah. And so there's that. I feel like there's more mixed emotions about that than anything, and I think rightfully so. But lastly, the big thing that is exciting for Pokemon fans, what people have been wanting for a long time, is an open world Breath of the Wild-esque Pokemon game called Pokemon Legends Arceus. Arceus? I'm not really sure how to say it. It's one of those legendary Pokemons, but yeah, it cool. I mean,
That's the first Pokemon.
Oh yeah,
I was just reading
that's right.
that Arceus was the first Pokemon ever.
The god of all Pokemon, I believe.
Is that right?
I think so.
You tell me. You
glad-
would know about that.
Well, I'm happy to teach you that, Luke. I mean, I know in Pokemon Detective Pikachu, I think Pikachu does say like, what in the name of Arceus or something like that, and it's a funny joke. You get it? But anyways, yeah, I mean, this looks early as far as how the game looks. I feel like it looks like it's either this is the Game Freak's out of their depth with this, and I don't know if they're up to the challenge of to do something like this, or this is very early. It's one or the other. If it's very
We've
early,
talked about this before, yeah.
yeah,
Definitely what they should be doing, and they'd pull it off. But you had said they'd made a nice evolution in the last. What was the last large Pokemon game that came out that you were?
Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
I think so. It was nice.
You said you could feel, the need to be better, but it was like this is a good evolution.
Yes, exactly. It's a big step for them, for sure. For Game Freak is a huge step for them. Would have been a minuscule step for someone like, Insomniac or something like that, or Bungie or Activision or whoever. But Game Freak,
not in their wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's like they have so much money. So much money, but at the same time, it's a company who knows how to do what it's been doing. We talk about this all the time to where
just need to expand and bring some people in that done this kind of thing.
Exactly it. Yeah, I would
partner up with Nintendo more, right?
Yeah, partner from Nintendo. There's talk about them partnering with a Monolith. I don't know if that's a rumor or not. Monolith is the company who makes the Xenoblade games. Those games have large, expansive areas. They look good. They're Switch games. They look nice. But yeah, if they do that, good. And I hope that works out well. And I'm excited. I want this to be amazing. If this lands it's what I've wanted for so long. It really is. And I just hope they're up for the task. The fact that you're just able to run around, find Pokemon in the wild, you can see them in the distance, and you're just there. And when the Pokemon battle starts, you're not whisked away to like some approximation of the area you're in. No, you're just fighting there. And yeah. This I really hope this is awesome, but for some reason I have this. There's something holding me back from being.
You just want Breath of the Wild, but you're not sure you're gonna get that.
Breath of the Wild did what everyone wanted Zelda to do for so long, and yeah, people want Pokemon to not do Breath of the Wild, but have those same feelings in Pokemon. We've always wanted that sense of exploration, and like when you see a big Pokemon, it's a big deal, and yeah, that's what...
Yeah, I mean, for me, like Pokemon, what little I know about Pokemon, it's always been like this is the kind of thing that deserves an exploratory world where you can fight and find Pokemon and maybe have a story, interact with other, trainers. Like there's so much out there that it's like, why aren't we on the like GTA 5 equivalent? Why aren't we on the 5th like big Pokemon game? Grand Pokemon or something. I don't know, like the Big Pokemon Adventure 2, or we should be well down that road, but that's just not what they focused on.
Exactly right.
It
And
felt like they kind of kept like what they did in Red and Green, and like just slightly evolved it, and it like never really took that like leap into the like GTA did with GTA 3. It was like it took that leap to where it's like we're going full open world. We're going to really like go out there, and then of course
absolutely.
it evolved into the craziness it is now.
Yeah. And
Pokemon could have done that in Japan. I feel like that would have. Oh man, I feel like that would have exploded. They would have eaten the world with that kind of thing if they'd done it earlier. But there's been so many open world games now. It's like it'll appeal to Pokemon fans, but it could have appealed to a lot more people
yeah.
if it had been this cool like Pokemon adventure RPG, game.
Yeah. And that's what I hope this is. I mean, I'm hearing a really strange argument here and there saying like this game needs a Switch Pro, which I want a Switch Pro, I really do. But
It's gonna be Switch only.
yeah. And,
Yeah.
and they're saying we just needs a Switch Pro to run well. We want Breath of the Wild Pokemon, and we need a Switch Pro to run. And it's like, did you forget what system Breath of the Wild came out on?
Mm-hmm.
Switch, and it looks great. I have no
Wii U.
complaints. Freaking Wii U
Came out on Wii U.
Absolutely right. And so no
I'm
excuses.
sure it didn't look great, but it did come out on Wii U.
Hire who you need to. Take your time. Make this thing the open world Pokemon game that we've wanted, we've dreamed of.
Work out for the Rockstar. Call it a day.
Yeah, baby.
Let Bethesda help you out. Let Xbox have a little bit of
little something.
Or just let us play the game.
That would be wonderful.
I think it would go over well on Xbox. I really do.
Dude,
I mean, I know you
it.
think of us as the shooter only platform, but I think it could go over well.
Absolutely. I think
the Skyrim of the East. That could be really cool. Can you imagine like a full-on like photorealistic Pokemon game?
I'd love it. Like honestly,
that could be really cool.
Movies like Detective Pikachu, it like sparks the imagination to be like, wow, imagine if you could just walk off and explore this world and be a Pokemon trainer here.
It doesn't have to be an anime style only game.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, you can still make those games, of course, but maybe you could bring more people in.
Yeah.
Doing more stuff. It's such a big property. I mean, it's one of it's the second highest selling property, video game property ever. It's like
crazy.
Why isn't more being done with it?
Yeah, they have the money. They just need to expand their resources. They just need to do it. Just do it. Stop with it being so traditional and just. Anyways,
Pokemon Go proved that they can eat the world. It's already proved.
They said
the greatest mobile game to ever come out.
They teamed up with Niantic on that one too, and it wasn't given to Game Freak. Anyways,
insane. There's money being left on the table. That's all we're saying.
Absolutely. All right. Well, this does it for that show. This show I actually need to be heading out into the
Go see your mother
myself. See my mother. But yeah.
Hello, Mrs. Williams.
Hello. Definitely listening to this podcast.
Good.
No. But anyways, it's been fun. We'll